Hello everyone, my name is Xuan Li. I'm a graduate student from ASU University, and today I'd like to share my personal experience about education. And I used to study accounting and finance in UK. I did a 1 year master in Plymouth University and also 3 years in Bachelor of Arts of Accounting and Finance. So I've got some like the academic skills and also some experience about accounting and finance subjects. And that's the reason why I would like to know more about the education system, because now I am teaching a high school in China. It's a kind of like an international school. So I'd like to learn more about the teaching skills and education system. And as I said, now you can see from my introduction, now I'm an English teacher at Nanjing Thomas School, and I'm teaching speaking and listening in IELTS and TOEFL, which are the required English test, language test for international students who are gonna study abroad to continue their further degree. And like 2 years before, I used to work in an English training center. It's called New Channel, and I worked here for a long time, for about more than 9 years. So I think I have accumulated some experience about teaching, but it's a training center, so we haven't got like the proper education system. But we do know like how to teach Chinese students to learn English, to know more about reading and writing, to understand how to communicate with people in a second language. And the most important thing is we create the environment, or it's like a learning atmosphere for students apart from their school. So they're gonna have extra time to practice their English in training center. And during the my like teaching time, or after like the research and some like a discussion or meetings with my colleagues, we have got we can't say it's really correct, but it's a kind of like a system, like a teaching philosophy, especially for students from high school or college students. It's like student-centered learning. It's really important for students to have a say in a class, because for the traditional Chinese class, usually it's always like a teacher is saying, teacher is telling students what to do. Teachers are delivering information to students, and as the students' roles, they are just listening. It's difficult for them to really think about like why they have to learn, what they will learn in the class, and what they can do after they gain the knowledge, after they learn the skills. So it's really important to create a class with the student-centered learning environment. And also, active engagement is quite important, especially when I'm teaching high school. I always make students to get involved in the class, because I'm teaching like a small sized class. So it's quite easy for students to sit in pairs, so they can. It's not only about playing games. It's like one student say, and the other student is listening. And I always give them the task, or just give them a like simple question, and they can discuss in groups and think about the like the popular topics, or I can let them watch the news from YouTube, because in China it's student cannot get access to wide source of resource from internet. So I just help them to read the news, to see the interesting video clips from YouTube, so they're gonna gain more knowledge. They're gonna get access to diverse resources, diverse types of resources, quite important for them. So they're going to become more active. Then they are able to get involved in the class, because sometimes they just they forget their students in the classroom. We are just like friends, and we are communicating like in stating in the same positions, not only like a teacher's roles and a student's roles. So I think it's important for them to like actively speak out what they want to talk about, what they want to express, because some of the teenagers they are very willing to express their own ideas, but in traditional Chinese classrooms they can't do that. So I think it's important to build their confidence. Also, the real world application, like I said, what you have learned, especially for language learning, it's a tool. It's not about a subject, it's just a tool. It's a tool to communicate with others, to build a bridge between different cultures. When they go to another nations, another countries, they have to know their custom, their culture, and the way they are talking. So I think for the students in the classroom, it's my responsibility to tell them what they're going to face to in the future, and what kind of problems or like difficult problems they're going to address in the future, including very simple, easy things like how they're going to rent accommodation for them in the future, especially for teenagers. Because most of the teenage students in China, they are not very independent, so they have to know the basic skills like for rent accommodation, and maybe like paying the bills. And when they go to the college or university, how they gonna make the office hours with professor when they have some challenges, how they can find their professor and communicate with them, and how they gonna get a support from college. So it's all about a real world application, like how they're gonna use English to communicate. Apart from that, it's also something about the updated news and facts. It's about economics and about the social world. It's about environment. So I like to widen the topics for my students. So they're gonna realize the importance, the significance of using second language. It's quite important for them. So it's about the teaching philosophy. It's very welcome if you have any different opinions about the way of your teaching. Welcome to leave your comments here. And it's a specific one, like creating inclusive classroom. It's like a diversity, like I said, the resource need to be diverse, various, right? And the ways of expressing for students to say about their opinions, ideas, I need to find out more approaches for them to like urge them to express their opinions. And also it's like inclusivity. Inclusivity is about, usually in my classroom, students have got different levels of English, especially for speaking and reading. Maybe it's about their limitation of vocabulary or maybe grammar, and maybe their like educational background. But I have to find like a balanced way to let, especially for students who stayed on the lower level, to get involved in the class, to realize, well, they are also important, right? And also respect. Respect is not only about like show your respect to teachers. It's about like when other people are speaking, you have to listen. You can't just talk to others. I know it's very simple, but it's important for students. They have to understand how to be a good audience, right? So when other people or students are doing a presentation or giving a speech, or even teachers are speaking something, are talking about something, they have to know to be a good listener is much more important than being a good speaker. So I think it's quite important. Also, it's like equity, right? Equity is like like I just said, the fairness. Fairness is really important for students. It's about the teachers show their respect, and students gonna build their confidence. And everyone has got their own strengths. It's not only about study. It's about your personality, your preference, and also your hobbies. Everyone has got their strengths, like your social ability, right? Everything. And it's more about the empowerment and also the welcoming atmosphere, just as said. So creating the inclusive classroom, it's the potential. It's really potential, and also I think it's essential for students to get involved in the class. It's a very essential aspect for teaching philosophy. And just to show you some pictures about my classroom, it's just a very small part of my work or of my like a teaching experience. The first picture, the one in the middle, it's like the students they are doing the reviews before exam. Like in China, it's like an examining word, right? But in my school, it's like an international program school. They have got more projects to do. So you can see the second picture here on your right. Those high school students, they took part to, they attended to a special project to communicate with the children in kindergarten. They were teaching children something. It's like they just changed their roles to teachers. I swapped roles. They pretended they were teachers. They're trying to teach the children chemistry, like how to do a proper experiment. It's a very, very easy experiment. And also they taught the children to play games and teach them how to paint. It's very interesting. And from this project, I saw lots of strengths from my students. They were so sweet in that project. They understand like to deliver information properly, to say something clearly. It's not that easy. So after those projects, they just wrote a kind of like a self-reflection. It's like a proper essay to practice their English writing. They hate writing, but after this project, when they were writing this report, they were very serious. They treated it seriously. It's quite funny, but I just love this atmosphere. Those teenagers, my students, in my eyes, actually, they were like kids. But when they were teaching those children, well, they just become, very charming. Yeah, very attractive, like good girls, good boys. And I think a project is very important for students to make them more motivated and encouraged. And the another picture, boring one, is like on the left corner here. Those students, they were listening to my class. Actually, before this second, they were quite pleased because I was telling a story about an adventure I used to take. And they were very excited. But when I give the task to them, well, it's your turn to talk about the adventure you have experienced or an adventure you would like to take in the future. They just suddenly become really quiet. And yeah, maybe they were thinking carefully. So yeah, they look really strict, right? And those just like a part of my classroom and my teaching environment. Okay, and this is my my sharing part. I'm very glad to share my personal information with you guys. Yeah, if you would like, please you can just follow my channel. I would like to share more things about. It's not only about like education, teaching. It's more about like, because we have got the cross culture, right? Many people from different countries, nations, and we can share like more interesting things here. Okay, thank you very much.